Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Blab today. I have Yunchi Wilson. I'm so excited to have her. I've been checking out her stuff. I actually ran across her YouTube channel and got some great tips on how to edit my YouTube videos. And I was like, I've got to meet her. She definitely has a lot. She gives value, and that's so important. Before we get started, I definitely wanted to let you know who I am. I'm an owner of Competitive Edge Social Media Marketing. I do just that. I help companies grow their brand awareness, their brand recognition, grow their sales and their online presence through effective social media marketing strategies, digital strategies, and also I do some consulting and training in regards to that digital strategy. You can check us out at competitivebrand.com, find out more about what I do and about my company. And also, please follow me on Twitter at Shantha Lynette. And you can hit me up at Instagram at Competitive Edge Social Media. And at the end, we'll also give Yanchi a chance. I know you guys will be following her away after our interview, so we'll give her a chance to tell you all the wonderful places that you can find her. And so again, I'm so excited to have her today. I'm going to go ahead and let you know about her. She is the founder of Who Are You Marketing Magazine. Yanchi's company is on the forefront of, they really help businesses develop resources for entrepreneurs. Sometimes our time and our budget is tight, but they certainly help with those dilemmas there. And Yanchi is also the creator of Claim My Fame. It's an authority marketing agency. She helps entrepreneurs gain positioning, which really is so important. And she's also marketing and media czar of Insane Marketing. She is an insane marketing strategist. She's obsessed with efficiency. And I love the fact that she really seeks growth and results. And she speaks the language of execution that is so important when it comes to marketing. So yeah, I wanted, Yanchi, thank you again for being with us today. I also wanted to find out more about, how you got started in marketing and what leads you here today.
So I guess I kind of have to take you guys back through time. My whole journey in marketing started when I was in college. I started my entrepreneurial journey when I was 19. I was going to school full time. I decided to run a club promotions company, and I did that at night, went to school full time during the day, and also had a part-time job. I was crazy then. When you're young and you don't have any responsibilities, that's fun to do. Things evolved from there. I worked for Microsoft, and I went ahead and also got to work for HP. I worked with a lot of tech companies. And my first realization of realizing I was not made for the corporate world was when I was let go of when I was pregnant. I was 6 months pregnant with my daughter. And this was a huge company. And we're talking blue chip company. And it was unfortunate because, that's not something people really prepare you for. They tell you to go to school, get your college degree, find a good job. I did all those things. Well, that formula didn't work for me. The second reality check I had was I was really into my career. I was probably working 60 to 70 hours a week, traveling all of the time. And I, developed really, really quickly. But I ended up having a mock stroke while I was pregnant with my second daughter. Yeah. So my whole left side went numb. I collapsed, and they just told me, look, the stress is literally killing you. This was the warm up round. Next time it's going to be the real thing. So I said, you know what? I'm done. I let go of the corporate America thing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. At least you were smart enough to say that. So many people still stay and have so many health problems. They don't have a choice, or they just don't know that they can get out.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Most people don't know they can get out. I just, my health pushed me towards doing it. And I wanted to spend more time with my family. So in comes in my consulting agency, Who Are You Marketing? The magazine was first a consulting agency. And I consulted with various companies, various brands. I helped them, kind of develop their market strategy, comprehend why marketing was so important. And the biggest factor that I always saw was that people really didn't know who they were marketing to. They just wanted to market. They wanted to throw things out there. They wanted to throw a blanket out and just hope it hits someone. But no one really comprehended, okay, how do I speak a language that translates to a specific group of people?
Right.
So as I kept consulting, I converted into coaching. It's like those steps that you kind of take. You do consulting, then it's coaching, then it's
How did you approach that issue? I love what you just said. It seems like, not only as individuals, as entrepreneurs, we have that issue of finding that avatar, that target market that we want to reach, but organizations have that issue too. How did you cut through that and provide a solution for that dilemma?
The biggest, one of the biggest ways is that, especially in these companies, you have to kind of cut through the ego because they've made so much money doing it their way. But the problem is that they plateau at their way. That's why salespeople, you'll find a lot of times in corporations, they're always in sales mode. They're never in growth mode. Mm-hmm. So they're always pounding the ground, always pounding the pavement. They're always worried about what's happening next, opposed to cultivating true relationships across the board. On average, companies' income is dependent on 70% on current customers, but there's not a lot of time spent cultivating those relationships. So the concept that I try to drive in a lot of companies' minds was you have a basis of client avatar. You have people who are paying you, cultivate those relationships so that can take you to the next level. But they were always so more concerned with, okay, we got to get more, we got to get more, we got to get more. So it was very difficult to deal with. And that's why I kind of walked away from dealing with those types of companies and started focusing more on entrepreneurs, people who were leaving corporate America, people who understood the same issues that, I was having with other companies and wanted to get that competitive advantage. So I started working more with them. And that was my sweet spot.
Awesome. Yeah, it's certainly so needed, what you provide for entrepreneurs. I know when I started my business about 2 years ago, it was so difficult because I didn't know where to look for information. I wanted information, but I just didn't know where to start in terms of how to get it. And come to find out, people they were going through the same issues. So they had the same problems, the same pains that I was. They just, either weren't talking about it or they had been so far removed from those issues because it had been some time since they started their businesses. So it's awesome that you've been able to apply big company, big world, maybe global marketing tactics to the entrepreneur world, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, it was a huge learning curve though. And I always say I'm a student of, learning because it's necessary that as an entrepreneur, you're always crafting polishing your craft, I say. And the reason why I created the magazine was because I wanted to walk away from coaching and consulting and all of those things. And like you said, I wanted to provide a resource for people who were coming into, being an entrepreneur of any sort. They may be advanced or they might be right in between, and they just needed a place to have a singular resource where they could grab all of the information. What do I do in marketing? What social media avenue should I be focused on? How do I figure out my strategy? How do I, comprehend what the hell YouTube marketing is? I wanted to provide a singular place for it. So that's how the magazine was born.
It's so much out there for sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm having some problems. I think Blab is slow right now. I'm going to try one thing someone told me last time when I'm going to pause the recording.
Okay.
Now we started back. Okay,
right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love to hear the stories of people, especially people who've left corporate America and now are doing it on their own and are successful. I love what all that has, got you there, which is awesome. So tell me more about the magazine. Who Are You Marketing Magazine, and what is it all about? How did you get that started, and where is it headed?
So the magazine was born out of the fact of trying to simplify my business. I think every entrepreneur kind of goes through that. You have different stages. You say, oh, I'm going to start here and I want to do all of these things. And then you do all of that and you realize, okay, I'm crazy. So how do we dumb this down?
Right.
And, I wanted to serve many people without draining myself. And that's what was happening. I was draining myself. So I didn't want a traditional magazine. I didn't want it to run like a traditional magazine. I loved the way Huffington Post was kind of doing what they did. They've got all this content coming in all the time from all these people for free, mind you. And they're one of the largest publications in the world. So I wanted to do something similar. So the magazine is essentially a miniature version of Huffington Post. It solely focuses on mindset and skill set training for entrepreneurs, because those are the two key things that it takes to effectively be an entrepreneur.
I love that. Those are, although, of course, I went to college, I graduated, and I was pretty happy with my education. But now that I'm on this whole new, I'm not on a career path, I'm on the entrepreneurship path. There's so many new things to learn, and mindset is so key. I mean, that will make or break the success of anything you want to do, is having the right mindset. So it's awesome that you've been able to pull without hiring all these many different business coaches all over the place, paying all this money out. And a lot of times these business coaches, I'm not sure. You just don't know. You invest in it, but you're not sure if it's going to work. But you have a system in place to support entrepreneurs. That's awesome. So yeah, let's start with content. I mean, you have the Who Are You Marketing magazine. I mean, that's what you do. You have to provide content consistently and content that's engaging.
Right.
Can you tell me your approach to content? And you hear a lot about content is king. What do you think about that? And as an entrepreneur, how should we be approaching content as well?
So there's a couple of different ways that I think about content. And that's just because I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to SEO. It's stuff that, I had to do so long in my corporate career. You know how critical it is, especially as an entrepreneur, when you don't have that credibility initially. The primary thing that I think of content, it's not just content is king, it's good content is king. Because there's a lot of information that's out there, but it doesn't mean it's good or anybody really wants to read it. Some people write content for the pure justification of being found online, and it's not engaging. And then some people write it, just kind of recycle content, which is absolutely part of my strategy as well. I always try to write content that I would want to read. I try to write in my own voice. I try to remain as authentic as possible, because the primary reason people hate writing is because they don't know what to write about, or they're not writing in their own voice. They're writing in a way that they think people want them to sound like. And that's not fun. You're going to hate writing when you do it that way. So whenever people ask me about, how do I fall in love with writing, essentially, write like you're writing in your diary. Write, everything that comes out of your mind, put it on paper. Yes, you want to put things in a formulated way, but the best way to get started is make sure that content is something that your key audience wants to hear. You know who your client avatar is, and write from that authentic place. Then you're going to want to make sure that you stay on topic with those things. I can't tell you how many blogs I've gone to where it might be a fitness blog, and then all of a sudden you're seeing stuff about fashion or something about doctors. And it's like, okay, what are you talking about exactly? Am I figuring out how
I've seen that a lot.
Make the fat go away, or are you a doctor? Which one is it? So you got to make sure you're consistent. Don't just do things for SEO purposes. If you're serving a particular tribe, make sure that tribe understands what you're an expert in. Become known as that individual expert in that niche, and it will pay handsomely. So those are some of the key things. And video, people discount video so much when it comes to content, but video is content.
It is content, and it's growing. The statistics are saying people are more likely to watch a YouTube video than they are television. Sit down, especially the millennial generation. So you're absolutely right.
Exactly. And so, don't be afraid to put that content, that blog post that you spent all that time writing, turn that into a video. The best way to recycle content is to put it in different forms. So make a blog post about it, put it in a newsletter, make a video about it, take snippets of it, and then use it as social media posts. There's so many different ways that you can use one single piece of content. I think people just kind of really overthink the process sometimes. Yeah.
Well, how do you stay inspired with writing and developing content?
Honestly, I kind of have a rigid schedule. Like I'm on this whole kick right now where I'm trying to do like a batch of 50 YouTube videos. And then,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for working me into that. I appreciate that.
No problem. And so what I try to do is I try to focus on a series of topics. Maybe it may be something about different particular platform. Maybe I'll talk about Blab. So I'll find different little niches of things that I can talk about. It might be even 60 seconds, but I can still rank it. It's still something I can leverage in a blog post, and it's still something that I can use for other platforms. So I always try to think about how can I scale content the same way you would scale your advertisements across different niches. I do the same thing with my content. How much can I scale this across, different platforms? Okay. And every time that I have an idea, I write it down. I don't wait. I don't wait to try to figure out how I can fit it in. I write the idea down and I figure out then how can I scale it. So I don't do a whole lot of thinking, overthinking when it comes to creating my content, I'll say.
It's probably the fact that you're authentic. That's what caught my eye about you when I stumbled across your YouTube. I was actually just starting my blabs and I was researching and trying to figure out how I was going to do this. And I stumbled across your YouTubes. And that's one thing, that's kind of, the authenticity, the fact that you're a real person and you weren't speaking well above my head about the blabs and how to do it. You made it look so easy. And your video about how to edit, a YouTube video, Camtasia, you made that look way too easy because I tried and it's like, okay, I don't have time for this. But yeah, I think that's, that's so important to be authentic. I think that's what really helps engage that and allow that content to resonate with those audiences, that target market that you were speaking of earlier. So I think that's awesome. Great ideas. Do you use like a software like Evernote? I know a lot of people sing the praises of different tools to keep them organized and on point with the content.
I don't have something I'm loyal to besides like pen and paper. When I'm home, it's pen and paper, just because I have a lot of things that I like to edit. I do a lot of word clouds and thinking clouds. So I'll put down different words or I'll put down different sentences, and I need to have something where I can move it around. I can't do that on the computer. I don't have time to delete and fix. And so when I'm out in public, though, and I have an idea, I will use Evernote or my little notepad thing to kind of come up with stuff.
Okay. All right. And some advice on people just getting started with their content. Any tips on just, how to really hit the ground running, especially with 2016. I know a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners are looking at taking things to the next level or maybe expanding their marketing budget or maybe want to change things up a bit. In regards to the content marketing strategy, do you have any tips or advice for that?
The biggest thing I would say is that authenticity is really in right now. And so is relationship building. Millennials, I guess I'm considered millennial, although I really resonate more with Gen Xers.
Yeah.
I would say that, people are no longer loyal to brands. They don't care about how pretty your logo looks or, how many millions of dollars you made in the past. They want to know that you understand them and their problems. So when you write your content, make sure that you are speaking to those particular situations. Think about how you like to be quote unquote sold to, or what type of content you like to read. You need to make sure that it's something that's easily, you're easily able to be pulled out of you, because if it's hard to write, then it's going to be hard to read. It needs to flow very simply. You don't have to be the best writer in the world. You just need to be able to articulate. And if you're able to be in business for yourself, then you're able to articulate content effectively for your audience.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And I know you talked a little bit about repurposing content. What's your strategy on repurposing content? Are there any do's and don'ts in regards to that?
Yes. So every platform is different. The way you would write something for Facebook, you can't write for Twitter. The way you would do it for Twitter, you can't do for Instagram. So you need to make sure that if you are, you have content, you write a blog post, for example, make sure that it fits according to the type of feel for that audience. You can't take your 2,500 blog posts and put it all on Twitter. Although, you could go ahead and just share it, but who's going to read that? You want to put snippets, the headlines. That's why headlines are just as important as the entire content. If your headlines have to capture people, and on Twitter, you only have 140 characters to go ahead and do it. So, make sure you're conscious of that. Also, just because the entire world is on every single social media platform doesn't mean you need to be. You need to focus on your ideal client. Where is your ideal client? Where do they spend most of their time? I know a lot of my clients are on LinkedIn, or they may be on Twitter. My time that I spend on Facebook is more for SEO purposes, honestly, and to showcase a history that I have on there. So I know my focus isn't there. So I schedule a lot of my posts for Facebook. So that's something to consider as well. And Canva, use Canva. That is my best friend.
I love
Canva.com.
Canva.
Oh my gosh.
Canva's awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's so easy. It's put a lot of Photoshoppers out of business,
Yes.
and I just absolutely love it. And I do totally agree when I'm consulting with clients on where they should be, where they should take their brands. A lot of them want to be on Tumblr, to Pinterest, to Instagram, to LinkedIn, to Facebook, and many of them, they don't need all that, especially if you are trying to reach the younger generation and you have maybe perhaps, like I work with a jewelry company, their top location is Instagram because that's where their target audience is. So it's really important to be where your customers are, be where your prospects are, and grow your brand and your presence and engage there instead of being all over the place.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah. And so I just wanted to also find out about any tips on any technologies people can check out, and any, heads up on anything that can make life easier in terms of their content.
So I have a secret tool I use, and I'm sure plenty of bloggers use them. It's called a curation suite, and this allows me to curate content like that. And if you're not familiar with curating content, basically it allows you to develop a whole new post based on various posts all around the web. And it's what you do is you take a topic. It could be YouTube marketing, how to do, DIY, whatever the case is. You type that in, and it pulls up all of these different articles. So I take snippets of these articles, and it allows me to give credit to the person that wrote the article, especially like if I'm in a hurry and I don't have, a quick idea I need to put out there, and I know the article I want to personally write is going to take some time. Curation Suite allows me to put out really good content based on giving credibility to other authors, and it helps with my rankings in SEO as well. A lot of people don't know that it's simple, it's easy to use, and it's not free, but it is.
Sounds like it's worth it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. There's so many days where you don't have the time, but you need content. So this is very helpful.
I love that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, one of the last questions I wanted to ask is for preparing for 2016. Do you see any trends with the market and content, and especially with SEO? I know things change all the time with Google and their algorithm and how they rank SEO. I know content is heavier than it's ever been. They rank that heavier. Mm-hmm. Do you see any other trends happening and anything we should be prepared for 2016?
Interestingly enough, I've been working with a lot of media outlets recently with the new division for Authority Marketing, and they are all over social media, almost to the point where ratings don't even matter. And it's kind of tough because their focus, of course, is to drive more people. But social media has now become the absolute rating and standard for many TV outlets because they're losing so many viewers. Viewers would rather catch the news later on online than see what's happening live. So I know that when you're looking into potentially getting media and things like that later on, that's going to be huge. And they're huge content drivers as well. Something else to really consider, of course, as I said before, video is increasing, especially mobile videos, more than ever before. YouTube and Facebook are at it as far as who is going to have the final battleground. Even some people predicting Google's demise because of what Facebook is trying to do. And if you are not doing video on Facebook and optimizing it for Facebook videos, that's something you should be doing now, because they're practically giving away ad space for videos right now.
Right.
So that's
to get a greater reach with those videos than I do with any other posts. And then if I go and slap a YouTube video and post that, it's like no kind of reach at all. So they don't want to work. They don't want to play with YouTube at all. They don't want to play in that sandbox at all.
But use both platforms. YouTube is huge because, it's owned by Google. It's all this SEO stuff. It's fantastic. But if you already have an audience on Facebook, you've already worked hard to develop page likes and all of this stuff, use the heck out of that too. Those two are going to be very huge drivers as far as your content and marketing and reaching the right types of people later on in 2016.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to share about content marketing?
The biggest thing as I said, we kind of said this over and over again, is make sure you know who you're talking to. If you don't know your client avatar, start there. Really hone down your key audience and know that your client avatar often is not just one person. There's different groups, and every group you have to talk to differently. The way you would talk to a 30-year-old mom would be very different from how you talk to a 50-year-old mom. Yes, they're both moms, but they speak different languages essentially. And then the next thing is making sure that your stuff is engaging. Just because you're tired or you don't want to do it, or there has to be a flow. It does take time to develop it. Every blogger that you see that makes 6 figures, there's 10 more that don't. So,
before we go, just any insight on how to really find out what that target market is? How do you go through that strategy and finding out who your target market is?
So I have this guide I created. It's free. It's my 7-step guide on how to find your ideal client. And what I can do, I'll provide you with the link. That way we can put it at the bottom of this replay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And it's a quick overview, and it helps you really hone down and understand, do you really know your target market? Women who are 40 and like fashion is not a target market or client avatar. A client avatar is very particular. It's where they shop, what they do, where are they? It's a feeling that's attached to their current problem or situation. And if you don't know what your ideal client's current problem or situation is, then you don't know your target market.
Awesome. So what else do you have going on? What are you working on right now that you want people to know about?
Oh, wow. Quite a few things. I actually just became the director of a nonprofit organization that focuses on alternative gardening with space-tested technology.
Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And I've gone back to kind of just only dealing with a couple of clients here or there. That way I can focus on really growing Who Are You Marketing magazine and taking that to the next level. So that can kind of be a big passive income stream. Every entrepreneur wants to reach that golden land of passive income.
For sure. Yes, I second that.
So yeah, those are some of the big things. And so yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of that next year. I'm going to be spending a lot of time focusing on this nonprofit because we're focusing on urban farming, and with the food crisis that we're having, many people don't realize it, but there's a natural resource in food crisis. That's why GMOs exist. We will be working to bring more organic food to non-green spaces. So we'll be creating our facility here in Houston and then trying to take it to other cities.
I love that. That would be a whole other interview because I think that there's been kind of the certain food in certain communities because there's not access to fresh foods and vegetables and certain demographics. They're paying the price for that. So that's awesome. Wonderful initiative to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Angie, where can people find you? I know you'll be getting, especially after the repay, I know a lot of people will be trying to hunt you down and get some more, pick your brain even more than I have. So where can they find you?
Absolutely. You can find me at whoareyoumarketingmag.com. That's who, letter R, YOU, marketingmag.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. You've been gracious and sharing all your golden nuggets about content marketing and strategy. And I hope all of us can take your insight and really make 2016, even now, let's just start now. Let's not wait until 2016 and just, turn it up a notch with our content marketing, making it more engaging and give value to our audience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's a